Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. My name is Christopher Belly. I'm a certified CPA accountant. I'm a long-term Boglehead investor. I'm author of the book Stop Being a Broke Loser. It's on Amazon. And I'm here to tell you that we may be in for a decade of utter annihilation with U.S. stocks. And I truly believe that U.S. stocks will probably outperform and underperform, not outperform, underperform international stocks over the next decade. Now, people have called me crazy. They said, you're a maniac, you don't understand, you're an idiot, you're a loser. U.S. stocks only go up. But recently, we've seen a bunch of massive companies that everybody thought could never go down get freaking annihilated. Netflix, Amazon, all these freaking companies getting wrecked. And the next one, hopefully, in the list is Tesla. We'll see. But all you have to do is do some basic research to really understand what's going on here. And before you get too freaked out about a prolonged bear market or a flat decade in stocks throughout the 2020s, I want you to keep one thing in mind. If you're a long-term investor, a long-term investor, not a 3 to 5 year investor, that's not long-term. That's like a day to me, okay? When I talk about long-term investing, I'm talking about decades and centuries. Now, you may laugh. You may say, oh, you chew tobacco and oh, you're going to be dead in a couple of years. Maybe. But I can tell you one thing. My kids and maybe even my grandkids will probably inherit the Vanguard Total World Stock Market Index that I've been buying since 2011. I truly believe that if you just dollar cost average into the Total World Index Fund, you will have a lot of wealth, and your children and your children's children will have a lot of wealth. And all you have to do is buy and hold. And it's times like this where everybody's freaking out and putting on scary freaking thumbnails and telling you the market's crashing and giving you stupid advice. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, where you are going to build massive wealth. But first, you got to sign up for my course. It's only $20,000. So I really think U.S. stocks are going to be crushed going into the future. I could be entirely wrong, but let's go look at my thesis. Let's go look at my theory. And then I'll talk about what I think you should do. And it's really hard what you should do. But over the next 10 years, 20 years, or however long this market is bad, I don't know. I can't predict the future. A lot of people are going to lose interest in stocks because what happens is when stocks don't go up a lot, they don't go up all the time like they did in 2020, 2021. People get bored because a lot of people want instant gratification. When in reality, the true path to wealth is to consistently invest through good times and bad, and buy the market both above and below its fair market value. I know that sounds crazy, but you can't time the market. That's why you dollar cost average. So let's go ahead and look at why I think the U.S. stock market's overvalued. I know this is so hard to research, ladies and gentlemen. So here we have the Buffett indicator, which is the ratio of the U.S. stock market value to GDP. Now, this white line is a historical trend of the Buffett indicator. So on the numerator is the total value of the U.S. stock market, the market capitalization. You take all the shares in the stock market of every freaking company, and you multiply them all by their share prices, and you add them up. This is the true 100% value of the total U.S. stock market. You divide that by the gross domestic product, which is our nation's output, our domestic output every year. Basically, how much we produce every year. Now, when a country, think about it this way. Think about it, just don't even think about the United States. Think about any country in general. What if I told you that there was a country that was growing 3% annually with their economy? Their economy was growing at 3%. And then after that, I tell you, well, the value of their stock market has been growing by 10, 11, 12% annually. What would you think about that? Would that make any freaking sense to you? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't understand. Well, that's exactly what's been happening with U.S. stocks. If you go look at the past 10 years of U.S. stock performance, our stocks have freaking crushed it. We've crushed it so badly that our country, which is only 25% of the world's not wealth, but production, accounts for 60% of the world's market value. Now, there's all these arguments against it, but even if I'm slightly wrong, and maybe there is a reason that US stocks might be worth more than international stocks, 60% of the world's market value, but we only produce 25%, that is a massive disparity. I think we're in a massive freaking bubble. I 100% believe it, especially if you look into the future growth projections of the US economy. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, there's other countries out there that are growing way faster than the United States. But, they're across the ocean. They're in Asia. Don't they have rice fields there and stuff like that? I mean, it's just who cares? America's the shining castle on the hill. That can do no wrong. And I don't hate the United States. I'm just saying our stock market is ridiculous. Okay. And it only takes one bad time to start a prolonged bear market. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's not. I have no idea. But there is some kind of correction due. These valuations, you look at this freaking blue line here. This blue line represents the value of our stock market. And it represents the total value of the US stock market to GDP. So in looks like early 2020, the total value of our stock market was twice as large as how much we actually produce. It's freaking crazy to me. Now, let me emphasize this a little bit more. So here I pulled up Vanguard and I went and looked at the VTI ETF. This is the total US stock market, United States only. And I plotted it out by clicking a button. And this blue line here represents the performance of the US stock market. So if you invested $10,000 years ago, or $10,000 10 years ago in US stocks, you would currently have $34,000. If you invested $10,000 in international stocks, you'd have $16,000. So a lot of YouTube geniuses who are pumping all US stocks, by the way, they look at this and they say, US stocks did better. So that means I'm going to buy US stocks. That's their logic, 100%. No doubt in my mind. Don't think anything else of it. The only reason they're doing it, the only reason they're going all in US is because they think that US stocks will just keep going up faster. I disagree entirely, especially with the rate of economic growth. Let's go look at some valuations. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so here's the VTI ETF. This is on Fidelity, and you can actually get a price to earnings ratio for the entire ETF. So we go down, and we see here, price to trailing earnings. Basically, however they freaking calculate it, and I'm sure they do it consistently for all the ETFs, hopefully. The price to earnings ratio, basically how much you're paying for a dollar of earnings, is $21. So when you see a PE of 21, you're basically saying, I'm going to pay $21 roughly for a dollar of earnings that happened in the past. That's kind of how you have to think of it. Now, the higher the PE ratio, the more richly valued the stock or ETF is, and the more there's potential growth reflected in that price. Usually higher growing companies have higher price to earnings ratios because their growth, people are expecting their growth to be faster than average. That's why they're going to pay more for it. Look at the growth of the U.S. economy. Go Google it. How fast will the U.S. economy grow in the next 5-10 years? It ain't going to grow that fast, ladies and gentlemen. 21. All right, then we go and look at the Vanguard Total International Stock Index. So this is the rest of the world. Price to earnings of 13. That seems a lot cheaper to me, especially when the rest of the world, I mean, excluding Europe, is growing way faster than the United States. Can somebody solve this puzzle for me? Because I don't seem to understand. So PE of 13 for international stocks, PE of 21 for US stocks. And remember, our historical average is 15. We could fall another 25% or more if the market irrationally sells off. Then we go look at developed markets. This is basically Europe, Japan, stuff like that. Also 13. And then we go look at emerging markets. This is like China, Brazil, 12. So it seems like there's this one country that has a very massively overvalued stock market. Oh, that's the United States. So what's the whole point of this video? What I'm here to tell you is you cannot possibly time the market. Now, from what I'm saying, it makes it sound like you should just put all your money in international stocks, which might be fruitful for you. You might make a ton of money in the long run. But at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge that you could be wrong. Maybe there's a reason US stocks are so highly priced, and maybe that'll continue in the future. I have no idea. But what I do know is when I see the US stock market and it's so massively overvalued, in my opinion, it doesn't hurt to have international exposure. So you can time the market. You can say, okay, I'm going to have 50% US, and I'm going to have 50% international, or maybe I'll have 60% international and 40% US. You can make up whatever crap in your head you want. You probably don't know what you're doing, and that's fine because nobody can predict where the world's going to go. I mean, you can have a good guess, but do you really know? Or you could just let the world sort itself out for yourself. You could literally buy every stock in the world, basically, at market cap weights. That is it. What you do if you buy the Vanguard Total World Stock Market Index ETF. So what's going to happen? Let's see the PE ratio. So here the PE ratio is 17. So it's a lot higher than Europe and emerging markets, but it's less in the United States. That's because it has both. It has both of them. This has roughly 50, 60% US stocks, 40% international. It is literally every stock in the world. So you're like, oh, does this have this stock? Does this have this stock? It has every freaking stock. Okay. Basically, I'm sure maybe there's, a couple dozen or 100 that aren't in there, but basically you're buying the whole world. So my bet is I'm going to grow my wealth with the world. Now, let's say the world economy grows very slowly for the next 10 years. Am I concerned about that? Not in the slightest. I don't freaking care. I'm 32. I'm not going to sell this at minimum for 30 years. Not even joking. Think about 30 years. I was 2 years old 30 years ago. I don't even remember when I was 2. I don't know. What was I doing? Crapping my pants? Peeing my bed? I don't remember. I'm not selling this for 30 years or 40 years or 50 years or forever. Maybe I'll die. My kids will inherit it. They'll die. The grandkids will inherit it. I'm sure somebody along the line will blow it all, but you kind of get my drift. So when you look at all these stupid videos on YouTube, people freaking out, oh, what do I do? Should I short the market? Should I go long? Just consistently buy the index. That's literally all you have to do. You don't have to buy VT. You could do 50% US, 50% international. You could do 70% international, 30% US. You can do whatever you freaking want. Okay. At the end of the day, if you want a stress-free life, and I should be a freaking salesman. They should pay me for this. If you want a sales-free life, if you want a stress-free life, just dollar cost average into VT or VT Wax, which is the mutual fund equivalent. I am not stressing the slightest. I hope stocks get freaking decimated over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I hope everybody gives up on stocks. They think they're trash. Everything's garbage. Why would you buy stocks? I can't wait because you know what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? I'm just going to buy and buy and buy and buy. And guess what? The world economy in 30 years, remember I was 2 years old 30 years ago, is going to be much better unless there's a nuclear war. And then I'm wrong, you're wrong, and then we're all dead. I'll survive because I'm a killer. I'm a trained killer. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to pay anybody anything. You don't have to sign up for any courses. You don't have to be a freaking clown. All you have to do is consistently invest and buy the world. Imagine the comfort of knowing that you own every company in the world. Oh, there's Walmart. I own that. There's Amazon. I guess there's physical Amazon. Aren't there like physical Amazon locations? Don't they have like these little crappy stores or whatever they're building? Oh, I own this. I own this. Basically, I drive down the road. I own all the companies, all of them. So am I worried about my stock going to zero? My ETF going to zero? No, I don't care. If the U.S. economy gets destroyed in the next 10 years, do I care? No. Doesn't matter. Doesn't freaking matter. And trust me, if you keep consistently buying stock, if stocks keep crashing, you're going to be fine because you're literally buying them cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I literally have an automatic draft. My paycheck comes in. I have a transfer from my checking account to my savings account. And from my savings account, Vanguard rips out a couple $100, $500, $600 every couple of weeks. That's it. And then it goes straight into the world index. That's all it does. So my next investment will be on the 15th. So in 10 days, I'm going to buy $500 more of the Vanguard Total World Stock Market Mutual Fund. Don't care. And if the market goes to, if the VT, so VT is like at what, $92 right now? If it goes to 40, 50, 40, 30, which I mean, that would be crazy, but I guess anything's possible. I don't care because I'm not selling. I don't care. Even if there's temporary fear, it doesn't freaking matter. Because in the long run, the world's going to be a better place. At least I think so. I'm an optimist. Okay. You get all these freaking psychos that are depressed. I think the world's going to freaking end, but I'm not worried about it. So you could buy courses, you could buy your individual stocks and watch them drop, and you could buy the dip and then it keeps dipping and you don't know if your company's going to go bankrupt or not. And that's it. All right, let's do some comments. What's up? When do you think the bubble we are in is going to burst? I have no idea. Like I said, I'm investing over a 30, 40, 50 centuries timeline. I don't care. I don't even try to think about when it's going to burst because it doesn't matter. I mean, I just literally buy this every 2 weeks. Does not freaking matter. My average VT price, 97. Okay, well, guys, where do you think VT is going to be in 30 years? I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot higher. Just think about all the technology we're coming out with and how innovative we are. And maybe we'll have like quantum computers in 30 years. Who freaking know? Who can imagine what we're going to have? Think back 30 years to when you were a kid, if you're that old. I remember when there was freaking dial-up internet and a cell phone. They're like these little crappy things. Now it's freaking crazy what we have. And that was less than 30 years ago. 30 years in the future, I can't even imagine the kind of crap we're going to have and how great, the global economy is going to be. Like I said, unless there's a nuclear war, and then I'm wrong. Michael Burry thinks it's a bubble. Kathy Wood thinks it's a bubble, and so does Strongman. I don't think Kathy Woods thinks it's a bubble. She thinks everything's massively undervalued. That's why she's buying all her trash companies because they're going to go up. The point of the video is to get out of indexing and buy the future. La Tesla. That's right, guys. I just made up everything I just said. Just go buy Tesla. But Strongman, doesn't that include companies from other countries listed in the U.S. market or U.S. companies that sell and under? It includes everything. So you can go, if you want to see what VT holds, go to the Vanguard website, pull up VT, and it literally lists every stock. It's like 9,000. It's freaking nuts. You can go look. It's everything. It's so easy, bro. I don't know why this is hard for you people. I'll put 40K in VT. God bless you. And what I'll say, if you put money in VT, everybody, if you put money in VT and it goes down, I don't want to hear complaining because anything can go down in the short term. If you buy VT, you need to commit to yourself. I am not selling this for 30 years, 40 years, whatever. And when the next bull market comes, VT is going to underperform a lot of stuff. It doesn't matter. Look right now, VT is actually doing pretty good compared to ARK, isn't it? So when you buy it, you're buying it for the long run. And if you keep watching VT every day and think it's going to go up quickly, you're sorely mistaken. So that's all I'm going to say about VT. It's a very, 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 very long-term investment. I put $4 in VT. There you go. That's a start. Jeremy said Tesla would hit 18K. I mean, time will tell. Time will tell. What's your price target to buy extra VT? I don't have a price target. You guys are misunderstanding my channel. I don't have a price target. Nobody knows where prices are going to go. Every freaking loser on YouTube has given you all these crazy price targets, and they are geniuses. And I'm here to tell you the truth. No one knows where prices are going to go. But I do know one thing. The world's going to be a better place in 30 years. That's all I have to know. Simple as that. I have $500 in Baba calls expiring tomorrow. You guys heard it here first. Oh, my God. Let's see. Anything else interesting? Last video Strongman made looked like he was leaving a truck stop. Was he buying or selling? Was Jeremy there? I can't answer those questions. I can't divulge who my clients are. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Strongman, because U.S. stocks have international exposure, I think it makes sense for stocks to be above the trend line and the Buffett indicator. Not saying, yeah, they do have some international exposure, but if you think about it, 60% of the world's market cap versus 25% of the world's GDP. And we've been through a historically massive bull run in the U.S., and they usually go in cycles. I'm not Nostradamus here, but it makes sense to me. It's like buying Tesla. It doesn't make sense to me right now. Massive run up, hype. Everybody tells you to buy it. It's the future. It's going to $10,000. To me, it's like common sense. It's like, no, I'm not buying that. That's ridiculous. Weak boy, at least Jeremy doesn't give advice while wearing his blue bathrobe. I mean, you can go watch Jeremy. He can wear a suit, as long as the person looks good and fancy, that's all that matters. Anyway, Jesus Christ, I need to go to bed. All right, that's it. Max your tax advantage accounts, buy total world stock market index funds. And when you buy it, you're going to hold it for 30, 40, 50 years. And if you don't, that's your freaking problem. Or you can just buy Tesla, bro. Whatever you want to do. Talk to you later. Cheers.